In this video, we're going to take a look at the Extrude tool. I already have my image planes set up, so I'm all ready to go to model my crow. I'm going to switch to my side view here. And we'll start our crow with a box and use box modeling techniques here. We'll go to Polygon Primitives, we'll choose Cube. And we'll bring this cube up and position it here, and we'll start somewhere in the middle of the body there to begin our model. And before I go, I'm going to set up symmetry on this cube. I'm going to move to the channel box and go into the construction history of my polygon cube. And I'm going to change the subdivision width to 2. This will give me a center line in the middle of my cube. Now I'm going to switch to the modeling toolkit. And inside of our modeling toolkit, we have the ability to model with symmetry. To set this up, we need to select a common edge that crosses between both sides of our model. So we'll switch to edge, and then I will choose that common edge, and then click on symmetry. It's highlighted blue. That tells me that symmetry is active. And now when I go to my faces, and you could even see it showing up there with our edges, if I select or hover over a face, we can see that the other side gets selected as well. So I'm going to switch back now to my side view with that established, and let's just go to our object mode, select this, and let's size this up to be an appropriate size for the torso of our character here. And this is going to kind of be the base, so we'll make this a little bit bigger. And we want to rotate this just slightly. Now, I'm not going to worry so much about what's happening in the front view. I'm just going to focus on the side view right now. And let's go to vertices and get these positioned a little bit better. Move that up there. And move that there. All right, now I'm going to go to face. And I'll select a single face. I don't want to select both of them, because I have my symmetry turned on, and I'll choose to extrude. That extrude automatically comes up, and it's actually using the local Z value that was there. Now by default, I think it's 1, but it's just picking up what I had done previously. But now that extrudes out, and then I'm going to hit R, and I'll just scale this, and we'll also rotate and get this into a better position here. That'll work. I have those faces still selected, so I'll hit extrude again. And let's lower this down here for the neck, and we'll scale. Again, I'm only paying attention to my side view that I'm looking at here. I don't really care what's happening in the front. We'll go back and fix that a little bit later. Hit extrude. And just change that angle. We want to follow the surface flow of the character, so that geometry should come up, and then kind of arc over a little bit. And let's extrude that again. And this will be the top of the character's head now. And we're creating a nice line here to extrude the beak out. And we'll flatten that off and scale that in. A little bit too far. Let's bring that back. There we go. Now I'm going to select single face there for the front. Hit extrude. And we'll scale that to fit there. Now I can work my way back down, and we'll go to the back of the character. And this is where the legs are going to come out of. I want to kind of keep this kind of planar right there where the legs are coming out. And then we'll extrude this piece here for the tail. And we'll just bring this straight back and scale that down. Now I can work on the legs there, but before I do, we can now switch to that front view and pull our geometry out here to get this to match up. I only need to grab one side, and we'll pull it out. I'm going to select that image plane as well. Let's zoom out here. I'm going to open up my outliner. And let's see if we can take a look. I just want to see the overall size of our image plane. And we're going to take a look as well. Let's copy this so we can see it up a little bit better. And this one is a little bit smaller. I'm going to see if we can fix that. Let's go back to my first image plane. Okay, and let's cut that down. There we go. Now we're looking a little bit better. Let's make that exact. Okay, so I just wanted to align those image planes. One was a little bit bigger than the other. Now when we look, that looks much better. Now our image plane is actually fitting that appropriately. And now let's grab some vertices here and we'll slide these over. And again, just use that reference material to shape this up so that it fits the character. And we'll just bring this back here and pull that out just a little bit. Okay, so we have a pretty good base going here. Next, we can extrude a leg out. And I'm going to start right there in the center. Now, I could use my modeling toolkit, but instead, I'm going to switch and go under Edit Mesh and go to Face and choose Extrude here. And use an offset to bring those in. Now, both of those are still attached. This is not really what I want. So I'm going to undo that. And what we're looking for here is we want to set the extrude so that it does not keep those faces together. I'm going to close that up and go into our channel box, and I want to look at the extrude right here. I want to actually look at that extrude node, and we're going to open it up inside of the attribute editor. And if we scroll down inside of that node, we'll see an option here for keep faces together. I'm going to uncheck that. That's actually going back to that tail. So let's undo that and let's go select our faces here. And we'll apply that extrude. And we do our offset and we see the same thing we saw before, but this time we'll uncheck keep faces together. And now that gives us a nice split in between there, which will allow us to pull out two separate legs. And we're just going to square those up and scale those down just a bit. And let's pull those out so we get a bit of a thigh going there. Oops, and we've got his legs coming out of his chest. We don't want that. Back that up, extrude, turn off, keep faces together, and scale those in. And we'll pull those down and let's look at our reference material. There we go. And then we can continue to extrude down from here. We can switch back to our toolkit and left click and drag to bring that extrusion down. And we'll scale, rotate that just a little bit, extrude, and I'll bring it down just a little further. And then we'll translate it over as well as scale. We don't have to get these precise. We can always go back as well and line it up with our reference material a little bit better. And we'll hit extrude again. That one's going a little too far, so we'll just bring that one back up. And let's level this out just a little bit. And if we look back in our perspective, we can see our symmetry is still working. I'm going to grab both sides here and we'll extrude those out. That's going to be the area in between the toes. Now I'm still in the extrude tool, so I'm going to hold Control and Shift and click again to pull out another extrusion. Then I'm going to select, we'll go to Faces, and I'll select each of these and that one, and choose Extrude to pull out my toes. Hold Control Shift and drag out again just for another little segment there. And then we can scale these down to get the shape of our toes. Now I'd go back in and we can clean this up a bit. and get it to match our reference material, just kind of pushing and pulling vertices.